What's up, everyone? This is Minnie coming at you with my recommendations for Gold League in Ranked Season 6. Now, before we get into that, a couple of reminders. One, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. About 65 to 70% of you watching this video haven't hit it yet. Make sure you hit that. Helps out my channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. Two, remember, I'm not just recommending the OP ships. I'm trying to do a mix of premium ships, tech tree ships, ships that you might have gone in Santa containers that are no longer available, ships that are still available, to give people options on what to play. Your ship that is insanely OP may not make this list, but this is just a list of recommendations trying to fit every player's choices and capabilities. Beyond that, bear in mind that this list isn't perfect. I may miss something. If I do, don't forget to let me know what you think I missed. I'm always happy to have discussion about ships. Now, let's start by talking about destroyers. First recommendation for destroyers is going to be the Ragnar, which is the tier 10 premium European destroyer. Reason I recommend the Ragnar is not only does it have nice health at 26,500, and you can get its range out to 15 kilometers as a DD if you choose to, plus the 2.7 second reload. The real nice thing about this is in the equipment that it comes with not only a speed boost, but it comes with a heal, and it comes with a 7.5 kilometer, 33 second radar. That is massive. If you're running into DDs that are smoking up, having that radar will really help you win the fights. Plus, the high DPM will allow you to challenge most other DDs effectively. Next up from the Ragnar is the Smolensk. Smolensk, very similar to the Ragnar. Once again, you're getting a high DPM cruiser, slightly quicker reload than the Ragnar, though you do suffer for it in the hit points you can take. Bonus over the Ragnar, you do have 1.4 kilometer lower detection, and with the Smolensk, you still have the 7.5 kilometer radar, though you do go down to a 20-second consumable action time plus the heal. I do love the Smolensk. Smolensk's not available anymore, so that's why Ragnar is also a viable choice, and I'm not just saying Smolensk straight out over Ragnar. Also, with the Smolensk, one thing to consider that's really nice is it does have that decent AA defense. And in a 5v5 mode where you can run into a carrier, having good AA is going to be clutch for you surviving. Next DD I would recommend is the newest DD on the market, which is the Forrest Sherman. Forrest Sherman has insane stats. It is going to be so strong this season. 28,000 hit points. You can get that up higher if you have Ovechkin to shove on it. Only 3 guns, but a 1.3 second reload means this thing is burning everything down, and your sap absolutely smashes any DD you run into. 6.5 kilometer detection means that you're going to be detected farther away than a Smolensk, but shorter than a Ragnar. Now, disadvantages to the Forrest Sherman. You don't have the radar that you get on the Smolensk and the Ragnar. You do get that hydroacoustic search and the smoke and the DFAA, which helps with aircraft carriers. But you are suffering, like I said, from that fact of no radar, which can put you in a position where you're going to have to fight something that's radaring you and burning you down very quickly. So you have to be careful there. Now, my last 2 recommendations for DD are in the French line. You should always consider French DDs at the high tier. You're going to have to suffer from the fact that the Kleber and, like it, the Marceau come with decently high detections, but you have the advantage of, 1, they have really good DPM, 2, with them you get that French saturation mechanic, which means that as they aim at the same spot on your ship, they're going to do less and less damage, which is going to allow you to survive. 21,000 hit points on the Marceau without a commander, 22,000 without a commander, but you have the speed boost, and this thing has 44 knots before 20% speed boost. So you think if you're running a 3-minute 20% speed boost on 44 knots, you're going up to ridiculous amounts of speed there. Same with the Kleber. Now, let's talk cruisers. First recommendation for cruiser is going to be the Des Moines or the Salem. So Des Moines and Salem are the tech tree, and then the premium version of the tech tree, American heavy cruisers. Reasons to consider the Des Moines. 1, you've got that really nice long-range surveillance radar, 52.8 seconds with all flags and modules. 2, you can take either hydroacoustic search or defensive AA fire, which once again will help with CVs. 5, second reload on the guns, and decent health means that you're going to be able to spam down cruisers, fight DDs, and be able to deal damage to those battleships that are trying to kill you. Salem has a few differences, remember, with it. If you're going to take it, Salem, of course, you have to choose between the radar and the hydro, so you're going to take the radar. Remember, the radar is only 8.5 kilometers, so you get that disadvantage, but you also have the defensive AA fire, and you get the better heal. So, advantages and disadvantages to both. After the Des Moines and Salem, my next recommendation is going to be the Stalingrad. Stalingrad has the negative side of it's going to burn and flood for forever, but you're running the 305 millimeter guns with an 18.5 second reload on a battle cruiser. You got 72,000 health, and when you shove Kuznetsov on this thing, it just becomes so freaking busted. This thing is going to have to be careful that you don't get focused down by HE spammers, but you're just going to be able to sit bow in and drop 10,000 damage salvos every 18 seconds, if not more, if they give you the broadside. This thing is going to smash cruisers, it's going to smash battleships, and its HE ain't half bad against DDs. And remember, it has the 12-kilometer radar. On the tech tree side, you should consider the Petropavlovsk. Petropavlovsk is still the most broken cruiser in the game, in my opinion. There's a reason it's been the ban from King of the Sea for 2 straight seasons by all of the clans choosing to just automatically ban it from the tournament. You got the 220 millimeters on the 12-second reload with a really strong bow tanking ability. Less health than a Stalingrad, but this thing is going to win a lot of fights it gets into, and you still have that 12-kilometer radar. Final recommendation for a cruiser, if you're saying, you know, I don't have the Petro, I don't have the Stalingrad, I don't run a Des Moines. If you're looking for a kiting cruiser, you can consider the Venezia and the Napoli in the Italian lines. Venezia is going to have that sap, which is going to be really advantageous when fighting a lot of the Russian stuff because it's just going to destroy the superstructure. Plus, with the quick turn in the smoke, you can get away fast. But in 5v5 kiting, I don't see as effective, so I'm not highly recommending the Venezia and the Napoli, but it's worth considering. Now, finally, let's talk about battleships. We got CVs after this, but let's talk battleships. First recommendation for battleships is going to be the Ohio. Ohio is the American Premium Tier 10 battleship, and it has the 4x2 457 millimeter guns. It's got the 15,000, almost 16,000 damage Citadel hit. This thing is a beast. And you got the 96,000 health, plus the advantage of that nice American heal for about 14,000, 15,000. So this thing is absolutely going to be worth it. Oh, and before I forget, you've got the 11.3 kilometer secondaries if you haven't kitted out for that. I expect you to see a lot of Ohios when I start playing Gold and play that quite a lot if I'm playing Battleship. One thing to be aware of, you probably want to consider not taking spotting aircraft, taking fighter to counter CVs because of the fact that I think you'll see a few CVs in the mode, but consider that. Next recommendation is going back to the Russian line, the Kremlin. Kremlin, one of the tankiest battleships in the game, 110,000 health just about. It's got the 457s, less damage, but you just point this thing bow in and you just laugh in Russian balance as you fire at any and all targets who come near you. Good ship. Gotta watch out for getting your AA completely crushed by CVs, but this is going to be a fun battleship and it's always worth considering taking out. Final recommendation for battleship is going to be the new German Tier 10 tech tree, the Schlieffen. Schlieffen is absolutely worth considering for a variety of reasons. It's only got 420 millimeter guns, but it's got the decent reload. It's got the really good secondaries, and their accuracy isn't half bad, and that is a big advantage to have when you're fighting DDs and cruisers, to be able to spam out those secondaries at such a long range. Having that range where you can get these things out to 12.5, 13 change kilometers is massive for you being able to win fights. Also, advantage when we look at taking a Schlieffen is this thing is well designed for brawling. Not only do you have a hydroacoustic search which detects ships at 5.5 kilometers, but you also get the torpedoes. And remember, with these torpedoes, you have 2 sets of 4 on each side. So you're dropping 8 torps per side, and you can do that every 160 seconds. So you get into brawl, you can try, and you're going down. You can still get off kills with the torps. Now, finally, let's talk about CVs. I think CVs are going to be absolutely busted in 5v5 unless the enemy team groups up. First CV I'm going to recommend is going to be the Nakhimov. This thing is absolutely insane. It's not the greatest at fighting DDs because of the fact that most DDs know to turn in to dodge the skip bombs, but you're going to hammer cruisers, you're going to hammer battleships, you're going to hammer the enemy CV. This thing is going to crush anything it wants to. And if you can sneak it up to an island in a map, you can get those planes juggling out really quickly, and you can decimate a Kremlin or a Schlieffen or a Stalingrad or one of those heavy health ships in 2 minutes flat. If you don't have the Nakhimov yet, consider taking the FDR. FDR is always reasonable to consider in a mode like this where you have the limited ships. Sure, you have the long time in between drops, but between your bombs and your torps, you can absolutely harass all of the cruisers and battleships. Once again, downside to this one is it's not going to be that efficient at DD killing because of the long drop timers and the lines and such, but it's absolutely worth it for cruisers and battleships. Finally, my last recommendation is, of course, the OG Sea clan battleship, the Hakuryu. Hakuryu is absolutely worth considering because you've got those AP dive bombers, which are going to smash the battleships and cruisers. It's got the really strong torps, and if you're proficient, you can land torps on DDs and absolutely decimate them. And this thing is going to wipe fleets out in seconds flat. I hesitate with the Midway on saying if you guys should take a Midway or not, because Midway, I do feel with the bombs is set up really well to crush enemy DDs because you get that low drop unlike the FDR, and you have the HE bombs unlike the hack. So Midway is really proficient at DD killing, but I wouldn't recommend it besides for DD killing. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope these recommendations help. Like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you're going to be taking out in ranked, and have a great day. As always, this is Minnie, signing off.